Welcome back for part 2 of the commentary on Bend Up Every Spirit. We had just finished up with 1904. Big years for myself as Germany, also for Austria, both of us picking up 3. Decent year for France, he gained 2 builds. Turkey lost 1. England was eliminated and Russia was knocked down to just 1 center. So it was a big year, a lot going on, and let's see what happens next. I was trying to decide in this turn whether or not I should stab France. I was hoping that he and I could talk, we could come up with a plan to evacuate or evict all of these centers here. He would move out of Liverpool, out of London, and if that were to have happened, I would have simply moved in behind him and then repositioned all my armies for a strike on Belgium and then into his other territories. But I never heard back from him, and as you see, he didn't submit moves. And so I decided that instead of trying to attack him, and it wouldn't have worked since he wouldn't have been moving out, all those units just held, which I thought was really going to screw me up. You also see here I had moved this army from Cilicia down into Galicia last turn, or last year, which kind of made Austria mad. Austria starts pushing towards me pretty heavily and starts defending the Russian army. So that could have been pretty bad. He also continues to make progress into Italy. Again, he pushes pretty hard towards me, moves his way up into Bohemia. Here I convince Russia to order his unit out into Sevastopol, which negates the support from there. So I made sure to take Moscow, eliminating the Russian player. But Austria is still pushing towards me here as well, and he's making progress picking up the Italian centers. Not a lot of progress in Turkey, but he's doing it. And since Austria started attacking, I decided against my attack on France. I couldn't afford to have 2 enemies of that size. So I cycle all my units out down towards my, I guess it would be southeastern front, and leave France to do his own thing. And he, as you can see, starts moving his fleets south to try to head off Austria in the Mediterranean and maybe take some of those Italian centers for himself. So Russia's the only unit that has to retreat. He retreats to Livonia, but then he just has to disband it. I get 1 build from taking Moscow, and Austria gets 2. France doesn't get any, but that's probably largely due to the fact that he didn't submit moves for the last turn. Here we go again. France not doing a whole lot of spectacular adjusting or moving, I guess, here either. He only moves 2 of his units, which was very upsetting. I was really wanting him to get all of his fleets into the action. He had 5, and he was using 2 of them. Down here you see I set up a defensive line, as did Austria, and Austria starts moving his units away to face the French attack. He also moves out of Constantinople here. I'm not really sure what he was thinking, because he could have held that against Turkey indefinitely, but instead he moves and Turkey is able to take Constantinople back. But I did find during this turn a weakness in this particular defense, which I thought he might mimic. He actually did, and so I exploited that weakness and forced my way here into Galicia. I knew that with France's position, Austria would probably not pick up these new builds, and I knew he was going to lose this to Turkey. So I thought if I could get into Galicia, I might be able to pick up some more of his territory. And France does finally start moving his fleets down to get in on the action. So we have a couple of retreats. Austria retreats his 1 fleet west, where it could have gotten behind France's line, and he moves this other one down to Romania. He does disband that fleet that was behind the lines. Turkey gets their build, so good for them. They're back up to their original 3. And again, haven't missed any turns. since the first one. France, once again, using very few of his units, but still gaining some ground, moving this fleet down into the Gulf of Lyon. I also gain ground here as Austria starts to kind of turtle. He's moving back to defend Vienna and Budapest, and I kind of cycle through and follow those units. And I start moving things west as well, getting myself in position to attack Belgium as well as London, neither of which attacks could be stopped because of where France was currently positioned. So in the fall, France makes a lot more moves, some good progress, getting himself into Piedmont and also into the Adriatic, moving up into the English Channel to face the attack from me. And I also get some support from Turkey down here. I had been talking with Turkey, told him that I appreciated that he was sticking around, and that I wanted to get him into 5 centers, because with 5 centers he could have broken even on this game, points-wise. So he gives me support into Sevastopol. And I also take Belgium and London. You see here my units in Ruhr and Silesia both move into Munich. Self-standoff. I wanted to make sure Munich was vacant so that I could build there. But I didn't want to leave the chance for Tyrolia to walk in, so that is how I accomplished that. But, I forgot to mention, since Munich got stood out of Burgundy, that territory wasn't vacated to begin with, so I wasn't able to actually build there. Someone took over Italy just for that retreat, apparently, and now they're dead. And France loses that territory, or that unit, and I build 2. Continue to make progress, move into Burgundy as well as Picardy, keep the French fleets from falling back to defend, which leaves me a free shot at Liverpool here. Also defend this Austrian territory from the Turkish attack, just hoping to get some cooperation from Austria again. And we'll see if it worked as we progress here. There's the retreats. It did not. Well, sort of. They do defend Romania here. I support Turkey, but it is not enough to get him in. And I do walk into Vienna and move these armies forward to keep my line pretty close where I can defend these territories once they've been taken. I do take Liverpool, I take Brest, and that puts me in great position for the last year with 3 builds. I'm able to hold France off up here. I do contact France after getting these moves put through. As you can see, just a little bit of some things holding me up down here, but really I was able to take what centers I wanted, largely because Turkey cutting support down here, also my other attacks cutting support, getting me both of these. But I contacted France and told him that I would not be taking any more of his territories, even though I was in position to make a run at Paris. He had been a good ally. I wanted to leave him with his 5 centers so that he could break even on the game. And he wrote me back saying he appreciated that, and so I do stick with that agreement. And I haven't gotten Turkey his 5 territories, but I do cut support from Serbia here, and he's able to cut support in Greece and take Bulgaria. So he does end the game with 4, which is admirable. He did stick with it, which was great. He doesn't quite break even, but France does Austria gains a few points, and I win the game here with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19 centers. So one more than I actually needed. In the game info here, I see it was the points per supply center. The buy-in was 25 points, and I came out with 96. So it was a good game. I thought things went pretty well for me. I was happy with how all my diplomacy worked out, how the game progressed, and I'm pretty happy with the solo victory. So it was a little quicker than the last one. It only took 2 videos. Hope you enjoyed watching, and stay tuned for the next commentary. Thanks.